Start video
Says I'm live.
transmission. Alrighty. This should be the start of the thing.
Welcome to the Deep AM.
Show up.
And also Overwatch.
Yes. If you are someone who has stayed up all night because at
Shit, that's a cool skin.
at like noon yesterday I said that I was going to be live streaming in 5 hours or something like that. Alright, we're definitely live. Let me go tweet this link and make sure that the audio is correct. So Streamlabs is new, just newly installed on this laptop that we're streaming from.
It's also different.
Yeah, it's very different. Well, that's what I meant by it's new. Like, I don't have this version of it on any computer I've used yet. We sound good. So I'm gonna go put the link out. But yeah, it'll take a minute for people to show up. I always try to start off talking right from the beginning for the people who watch the VOD because I always get way more VOD views than I do active live views. So, I don't want it to be boring because I hate watching live stream VODs where they start off with 15 minutes of silence or like some opening theme you have to skip or something like that.
If you ever have trouble talking at the beginning of a live stream, all you have to do is sing the sound of silence. And then it actually negates any actual silence.
But at the same time, I'm always trying to run all the checks and make sure everything sounds good and fucking tweet out my live
You're making
link.
sure that ting goes scrap.
I guess I'll tweet, welcome to the Deep AM.
Right.
Welcome to Deep AM. Live now.
Napow.
They can't
I'm
see what
playing
doing.
Overwatch as Reinhardt. In the next round when we're on attack, I'll play Junker Queen, as the thumbnail suggests. But she's not as good on defense. Unless they have a Junker Queen.
Okay. Now I gotta get my chat open. We've already got 18 concurrent viewers. Shout out.
Oh my gosh. Hello, 18 concurrent viewers.
We're gonna try to be streaming for a really long time. Of course, obviously, super chats very welcome. I should probably put in the description that I'll rant for $5 super chats as always. While live. Alright. Because I love doing it. And I'm also going to be doing some Patreon rants that have been overdue for a little while because I haven't been live streaming, and I normally do them when I live stream these days. As in last year when I last did them. So, yeah, it's going to be a real catching up on a real house cleaning long form live stream. But as you can tell from the title of this stream, all of my videos are back up, and that's going to be the main topic of discussion here on this live stream that will also function as a podcast for a lot of people. While Bird plays Overwatch 2, even though we used Junker Queen as the thumbnail, he has chosen to play
Reinhardt.
as Reinhardt instead.
Mimi big boy.
Tall boys win again. They're changing the story. Yeah, I brought all the videos back. And this channel, from here on out, is pretty much just going to be a archive of all that old content. I might do live streams here for a little while because of the fact that it's monetizable and it's a fun way to make a little bit of money. That's pretty much the biggest reason I brought all the videos back, is that I am not really actively using these channels anymore. I'm not really concerned about them as... So, when I delisted everything, it's because I was going through a major identity shift, and I wanted to disconnect the image of me I had put on the internet from people's expectation of what I was going to be from then on. And I think it sent the message, but all of that stuff just got re-uploaded onto archive channels, and a lot of the stuff that was popular initially continued to get a lot of views there. So it kind of just made me think, well, it's not as though the image of me from before isn't still being disseminated. It also, I can't stop people from re-watching those old videos regardless how I feel about them. Like, it says YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming.
Yeah, I was having some connection issues as
You
well.
might need to lower the graphics of your game a bit.
Okay, give me a second.
After this match, or whenever you
After this
can.
round, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a battle.
But yeah, it shouldn't be affecting the audio anyway. It's usually just a video that gets stuttering fucked up. But let us know if the audio gets fucked up, because that is more of a problem, and I don't want it to be fucked up VOD and shit. But yeah, the at the time that I took all the videos down, you know, it's like I want people to think of me as Trixie the Golden Witch and really disconnect from my previous identity. And I
No data. The stream will end shortly. What the
uh-oh.
hell? I thought we had really good internet.
I mean, you're playing a pretty internet-intensive game too, though.
That's true. I don't want to have battery.
It might be. We might have to switch to an offline game.
I just turned battery saver off, so let's see if that does
Oh,
anything.
you had battery saver on?
Well, yeah, because
Right.
I'm suspended. I can't. Okay, good. I can rejoin the match. Fuck. Let's see. Did that do anything?
I mean, it looks like it says excellent connection on the stream right now, and
Let's hope that
it didn't
was all
look like
took.
it restarted. It still says 6 minutes and 47 seconds, so I think we're good. Not all of those archive channels are nice people, says M&M. Yeah, I figure that's probably true as well. And yeah, so basically, like, if the videos are going to be out there anyways, I might as well be making money off of them. So, you know, I might as well host them all myself. I also listed a bunch of stuff that had never been listed as public before, and so it published to people's feeds en masse, which I figure is a good advertisement for the fact that the videos are back. You know, even if you missed this live stream, even if you missed me talking about it on Twitter, or just didn't, you know, happen upon the channel and notice that the videos were back, or go searching for something you forgot about and suddenly it came up. You know, notwithstanding all of that, getting suddenly bombed by like 30 random old videos is definitely pretty attention grabbing, even if it wasn't really my intent. But I had a feeling it might happen, and I was trying my hardest to avoid, like, because I've uploaded some, like, just like probably 6 or 7 like just pure utility videos to like After Dark before, that I was like, these are never meant to be published. But there's lots of stuff also that like had been unlisted but kind of just posted in various places, like videos I never had published, but people have seen them. And especially Patreon exclusive stuff that had, you know, only ever existed behind a paywall, but like from so long ago that it's not relevant to any type of Patreon rewards that I have anymore. So, you know, that's the stuff that ended up publishing straight to feeds. And I think it's, if you're somebody who's going to be interested in deep diving your way through the most like archaic content that I ever had, that's gonna probably be the stuff you'd want to start with, because you probably haven't seen it before. But you know, so I hope it sparks the kinds of people who have just been waiting for the chance to marathon a bunch of my videos back to back to just go do that now that they can. Because again, it's you know, I've made a lot of money off of the residuals of my channel over time. It's, you know, it's something that, like, right now I'm not really reliant on YouTube, obviously, because I have retired and I barely even live stream anymore. So, you know, I've been working regular jobs and not really doing, you know, I'm not really relying on the internet for my income, but I still get money from the internet. And so, you know, when the end of the month rolls around and I've got an extra $100 because of some videos I made 7 years ago, it's like, well, shit, like, I literally didn't have to do anything. My videos just exist and they make money. So, you know, if the channel's going to be inactive anyways, and I'm not worried about how all that stuff that's on there reflects anything I'm posting in the future, you know, I don't have immediate plans to come back to YouTube as a professional YouTuber, but in the event I should do so, it will not be on these channels. These channels are fucking just total clusterfucks. Their SEO is fucked up. They they've had tons of they've both been taken down and put back up multiple times. They're associated with just ridiculous amounts of history and weird history. Relisting lots of videos. A lot of the videos I've relisted, have people in them that I don't talk to anymore or don't have, positive relationships with anymore. But they're, the videos are there at times when we're friends, so it's going to be weird for people to look back at that kind of stuff. Obviously I look nothing like I did in most of those videos at this point, so that's weird in and of itself. I'll be referring to myself differently from how I would now in those videos. But, I think it's been long enough that, anybody who's watching this shit knows that I transitioned and I'm Trixie the Golden Witch now. And even if you don't, I put it in the description.
Wait, you're not famous YouTuber Wendigoon?
No. God damn it. I keep insisting that Wendigoon looks just like I did back when I was, 22 or so. And first started, growing the beard in videos. Yeah, the old content is definitely, it's stuff that I feel weird returning to. I'm not gonna go watch a bunch of videos where I've got a beard, but I might listen to some of them because there's a pretty even split between shit that I re-uploaded knowing that it's totally cringeworthy or that out of context it makes no fucking sense at all. And then there's other stuff that I was kind of excited to repost because the only reason I had left it down is maybe I show my face for a little bit or I talk about something that's just not true of my life anymore, so just stuff that was mildly uncomfortable but on the way to making a actually good point, or it's just generally a good video. So there's some stuff that I'm okay, well I'm happy to have them back. Plenty of stuff that I know is going to be I don't know, maybe renewably controversial because I've said so much fucking ridiculous shit over the years.
That she has.
I just going back through even just the titles of videos, I look at them and I'm just I am out of my fucking mind. I can't believe I made all these videos. And it really was just a matter of I just did everything that came into my head for 10 years. Just constantly. Why did I take the Anno video down initially? It was just blocked, actually. Those, I think, there's a bunch of videos. Hey, Anonymous, always first to drop a super chat with $2. I felt a disturbance in the force last night. Yeah, it was a pretty big. Zen Huxtable's here also. Welcome back. Still making music. I am.
Oh, Zen Huxtable. Hello.
I just was I visited our friend Kale Bat Eater, as he is known in the rap world, part of the Sucker Punch supergroup, and or I guess it's just a group. But we visited him, and I workshopped some beats with him and wrote a song that I'm excited to finish because I really like it. Shout out to everybody else in the chat. I'm a little far away from the chat. I'm mostly trying to make sure it's real and happening more so than trying to read all of it. But I'm shouting out the people I know because what's up, guys? Anyway, yeah, it's again, weird experience for me to look back on a lot of the videos, but some of them I'm just well, this is a funny shitpost that deserves to exist or something like that. So I'm just gonna disconnect myself from the idea that any of it really has much to do with me and is more just the product of this experiment that I did for this amount of time that I'd like to continue to make profit off of, instead of letting other people do it because it's always gonna exist. I guess I didn't expect people to, want to preserve my stuff as much as they do or to return to it as much as they do. But, yeah. So, again, yeah, I don't have immediate plans or anything to actually come back as a YouTuber, and these channels are mostly archival.
Archival.
When I say these channels, by the way, I mean Yig Studio and branches of Yig, because those are the only ones where I had actually taken stuff down. Any of my other weird offshoot side channels just didn't have enough attention for me to bother in the first place. So, but yeah, those ones I still had intended on using, and like honestly, if I had fucking even a iota of a brain cell when I made the decision to take all the videos down, I just simply would have made a new channel instead of relying on the one I had. Instead
Wild idea.
I would have just
Strange.
archived the whole thing right then and there and created a new channel. But the reason I did not do that is because this channel is monetized. And it's not easy to get a new channel monetized, especially when you're on already on a downturn of views, and kind of like, I was making most of the money that I was making through live streams for the last few years, through people doing super chats or through Patreon, getting rant requests and stuff. So like, for practically as long as I've been doing rants, which is like half of the time that I've been doing this job, I want to say like 5 years, doing rants has been the thing that makes me the most money consistently, and it's something that I could just grind out whenever I needed to. And so, I experimented a lot with different forms of content, trying to do something that was going to recover my career, but it became really clear. I mean, I talked about this in the I'm Retiring video, but that like around when I made the Mushoku Tensei video and the Spy Family video, and they just kept getting taken down. And then the Eureka 7 Part 1 of I think we were like going out of town for 2 weeks, and I was trying to get it done before we left town, and it
was like a 2-3 day affair of just constantly taking it down, re-editing, re-uploading.
Because I was uploading, like I had failed to get it to work in time. Like I spent the whole 24 hours before we had to leave trying to upload this thing and failing, and then the whole trip also trying to upload the thing and failing, but on like shitty Wi-Fi internet. And then like after a few days, it's just like, I'm not going to be able to fix this without getting to a computer, so it ended up being like 2 weeks late. And then by then I was just doing so much other shit on top of it that I was like, this fucking Eureka 7 project is out of hand, so that was when I was like, this channel is just not working. Like, I'm putting a lot of effort in. During, what was it, not last year, but it must have been fall of last year, yeah. So like about a year ago was a period where I was putting as much effort into the channel as I had ever been before, and just not getting the rewards back because of how hard it was to keep the videos online, even when they were successful, even when they were starting to gain ground. YouTube just got really brutal with all the way they handle ID. So which had always been a huge problem for me anyways. And so basically, once I still kind of had the fear of like leaving internet content creation even after retiring, because again, it's the only way I've made money for a decade. So it's something I know how to do. It's something I know I can make money doing, but it's not growing, and I want it to be. I want to be making more money than I am, So for me, if this can be a successful side hustle to like actually making money also, then that's better than trying to do it full time and just getting so fucking little pull out of the main channels, But again, I think that I'll get more out of just having them, because once in a while, I haven't posted in a couple of months. So any money I made off of YouTube last month in particular was just purely off of backlog viewing. So the fact that I even made, I think it was like $110 off of just backlog viewing, it's like I could probably double that just by relisting all these videos. And that's a nice way to have just a chunk of side change that you don't have to put any effort into. I don't have to put any effort into. You put effort into watching it. Joshua Fritz with $5 says, what's your opinion on Overwatch 2? Better or worse than the original?
Trixie cannot understand Overwatch 2. I've tried to get her to play it with me a couple times, and I think my favorite sentence I've gotten out of her by doing it is, it just doesn't make any sense. There's a bunch of flashing colors and then people die. I think it's a lot better than the original. I was initially kind of upset about the switch from 6v6 to 5v5, but I also wasn't playing Overwatch for the last 2 years of its life cycle. You should check them out.
Yeah. As I am incompetent at Overwatch, I had played some of.
I wouldn't say incompetent.
Well, thank you. I mean, yeah, I've gotten kills before, I guess. I know how to play other first-person shooters, so I'm not totally in the dark on what's going on. But the game is so specifically balanced where it's like, you need to know who you're trying to take out with your character, you know?
You need to know the counters.
And you can't just, like, I'm used to a game like Halo where everybody has the exact same power level. So I know that whoever I run out to, I can shoot them once with the shotgun and then hit them with the butt of the gun and they'll die, you know? In this game, the rules are totally different depending on who you're targeting. So you have to know, like, how much health does this person have? Do I have enough firepower to take them out before they take me out? Do I need to be worried about that other guy who's behind him? Or is that someone who's going to kill me instantly, you know? And, like, it's just a very knowledge-driven game. So I think it takes a while to build up that knowledge, and especially if I'm playing with you, I'm going to be in matches that are over my head, because, you know, you're going to get placed into more powerful teams than I could handle. There was one time that Bird was in, like, the middle of a match and just goes to take a shit and leaves me in control of the character. And the whole time, the entire chat is just begging me to change character. They're all, like, super pissed off because I don't know what I'm doing, trying to play Brigitte. And I didn't, like, I didn't want to switch because you were already playing her, and I was like, I'm not gonna bother trying someone else. I'm gonna do just as poorly. But I really did not know how to play Brigitte. Dragon Ball manga 1984 with, I assume those are Russian dollars of 100. What is your opinion about Chainsaw Man anime? I have only seen the first episode so far. We
watched the first 2.
Did we?
Yeah.
I think we only made it halfway through the second episode, and then we were, like, passing out or something, or did something else. I don't think we finished it. But, yeah, it's, well, so I have read the whole manga. I did a coverage of it with Best Guy Ever on the Cantent channel, whenever that was. So I love the manga. I considered it like a 10 out of 10. It's like the best version of a Devilman. Super artsy and fun and weird, and the characters are intriguing, and the author's a, you know, eccentric, fun dude. The fan base of Chainsaw Man is insanely dedicated. Like, because, you know, I see the artwork constantly on Twitter. There's that channel, I can't remember his name. It starts with a Yi. Is it Yi Man? I don't remember. It's a guy who just covers, like, Chainsaw Man and Spy Family author stuff. And he, you know, like, is always bringing up all the funny stuff about the guy who creates it. So, like, there's so much of, like, a particularity to the way that the manga is that the anime inevitably feels very different. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I've heard the arguments for, like, you know, why, you know, it's just doing its own thing. It is its own animal, so even if it is, like, it's still, obviously, most of what's going to be good about it is stuff that was already good about Chainsaw Man, but it has its own tone and edge to it. So I'm curious to watch it. I don't know if I will like it as much as the manga. It felt weird to sort of, because, you know, Bird was seeing the anime for the first time, never having read the manga, so, what's going on? Why did you have to restart the...
Graphics. Graphics settings changes require a restart.
Do
you think closing out any of these million tabs might help also?
None of that has anything to do with us.
But it has to do with RAM.
On that computer? What do you mean? There's nothing to do with... It's not streaming. This computer is just how I'm monitoring the stream on YouTube.
So this is doing all the work.
Yeah,
then.
your computer's doing everything. So it's just... That's why. But yeah, I mean, it didn't take down the stream or anything. You just have no image. It's just audio only. And it says, start a game.
I'm starting a game.
I assume it says that for the audience, too.
I don't think so.
But yeah, So if you're retiring and you're making all your videos public again, does it mean there's a chance I'll get the Plebe and the Weeb Blu-ray or my money back? I mean, if you want your money back, nobody has ever asked me for their money back about that. I don't have the money to give you, so you'll have to wait a while before I can pay anybody back if that's something they wanted. But otherwise, just go buy Ben's. He literally made it already, and he sold it for like $10 or something.
That's really big of you, you know? Like, that guy said a lot of mean stuff about you. It's nice that you're
Look, I have a fucking box full of Blu-ray cases and CDs
yeah,
that I've been carrying around for 8 fucking years. I have a Blu-ray burner. I don't know how to use the software, and my computers were not strong enough to render it to the disc. So I fucking gave up. I was like, until I have a computer that can even attempt this, this was just over my head. What I thought I was trying to do by making Blu-rays, not something I knew how to do at all. It turns out I don't have even when I think I have the equipment, I don't have the equipment. So, yeah, by all means, buy Ben's if you really want that Blu-ray. Because it's going to take me probably another 5 fucking years to actually get the ones I have made. By then, you'll all be dead.
What? Why? Most of your viewers have to be younger than you. Why would they all be dead?
No, if they want the Plebe and the Weeb Blu-rays that badly, they're probably suicidal. Yeah, Jesse was really pissed off about Ben releasing it without consulting him or giving him any share. I mean, I was pissed off too, but I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do about it? You know, I literally could not get my computer to render the Blu-rays, so I just, I didn't have any money to deal with this problem, so I was like, Ben was like, oh, it only cost me like, I don't know, a couple $100. I was like, I don't have a couple $100 to throw down on fixing this fucking Blu-ray problem. So, yeah. Maybe I will after I've relisted all of my videos and start getting residual ad revenue off of them. Or, whatever the case may be. I'll absolutely be dead by then for sure. Gay and dead, probably, if I had to guess. Yeah, I guess I said all I had to say about the Chainsaw Man anime. It was just, I had that manga purist, snag in my brain that was like, well, you should read the manga first because it's really good. But like, if you like the anime, you like the anime, and you can read the manga anyway. So I don't know. Do you feel like you'd like to continue the Chainsaw Man anime?
Yeah, it was fine. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite thing I've ever seen, but it was not bad.
We'll probably end up watching it. I mean, they released 12 episodes, and it's like, we're waiting for the next batch type thing, so there's plenty of time to catch up. I was just watching a video by the Canepa Effect earlier about how, I guess people were trying to claim that the show had, failed because it had relatively low Blu-ray sales. And he's just like, that's just not the industry anymore. Now it's about how many streaming sites bought the rights to play it and bid for it, and I have to imagine the bidding was quite high for Chainsaw Man because the hype was fucking real. And considering that it's only 12 episodes in, the hype will only grow. Why are the
CSM anime is terrible. The director hates anime. I don't know anything about that.
I've heard a lot. There's lots of people have written lots of words about the Chainsaw Man anime and their feelings about comparing it to the manga. I cannot even begin to scratch the surface of all the opinions I've seen without even having really watched the show yet. But to those who are just showing up and asking why are the vids back, again, this channel is just basically going to be an archive from now on. I'm not doing this channel. If you haven't noticed, I haven't really been posting to it. Sometimes I do live streams just because it is a channel that has monetization, and so I can do super chat rants and stuff like that. But I haven't even been doing that lately. So the idea here is basically, if I ever were to return to YouTube to do content again, I don't want to do it on this channel because the channel is already just broken. It's best its best use case for me now is to be a residual income from all of my content that's ever existed. So I figured bringing it all back will cause at least a temporary spike in viewership to a bunch of videos that people have been wanting to revisit. And maybe some of those will catch on again in the algorithm because of it, and then suddenly get a whole lot more views or something. I don't know. It would be great.
What rank is the guy playing Overwatch right now? I don't know. Silver something. I'm not good.
That's not fair. You're pretty
It's
good.
pretty fair. I have 0 kills and 6 deaths.
Jesus. Well, I mean, you are playing and like with the computer that's slowing down from the streaming, right? I don't know.
I'm not even getting any heals, bro.
You're on Wi-Fi and you're streaming at the same time, so I can't imagine that it's perfect connection. Do you have a place we could plug in
I think you can do it through Thunderbolt connection, but I don't know that we have a Thunderbolt connection long enough to do that.
I don't think so. Is the After Dark channel going to get the same treatment? It already did. Go check it out. Don't forget that channel is called Branches of Yig now. I'm sure it's linked somewhere. Maybe I took the links off of this channel because it wasn't being posted to anymore. I'll have to put that link back up. But yeah, the Branches of Yig channel has been completely republished as well. And it's not my little brother. Bird, my fiance, is the one who's playing Overwatch.
I just reported a guy for telling me to die.
DHK with $5. Thank you. Thanks for putting the videos back up. Did you watch or plan to watch Onimai or Bocchi the Rock? Did we watch Onimai?
I don't know what Onimai is.
That was the one where the brother turns into a little sister.
Oh yeah, that was a weird one.
We watched
it was
the
not
first 3 episodes.
terrible.
It
was just incredibly strange.
It was so. That show was like the most saying the quiet part out loud anime that I have possibly ever seen as a trans person. Because, I mean, for me, I went through the phase of like, I can go back to my Megatokyo account. It's still up. You know, Megatokyo forums.megatokyo.com. I could go there. I could search Digital Boy and find the account where the signature is just all caps in quotation marks and with an exclamation point. I love traps. And I think
it was clearly a Fred Rogers reference, like Scooby-Doo.
I had no idea the term trans person or transgender or anything like that. I only knew about anime traps. And eventually I caught on to gender bender anime. It's like Ranma 1/2, which by far takes it the farthest, even though Ranma's, you know, not trans. Ranma does, well, I guess you could say Ranma experiences dysmorphia because he does not want to be a woman and does not identify that way, but ends up kind of developing a certain amount of comfort with being in a woman's body as well. And then there was stuff like Kashimashi, Girl Meets Girl, where like a guy gets hit by a spaceship and turns into a girl, and now he can romance the girl who like can't see men or some shit. Stupid. So like the range on like, you know, how gender was played with anime was like pretty narrow, and I'm sure there were plenty of people who were enjoying those shows and like understood like, oh, this relates to my feelings of dysphoria or you know, gender questioning, but I was not really that deeply thinking about it. I was just like, yeah, I don't know why, but I sure do like it when the characters are dressed up as the girls, you know. And then I got really into Moe, and like initially I was like terrified of being into anything girly. Like, you have to understand, when I was first watching Moe shows, I was doing it on the super down low. I didn't have a room covered in anime posters yet. I was really not trying to let people know when I was like 16 that I was watching shows like K-On! And Lucky Star and well, K-On! Was a little bit later, so by then it was
real
not
quick,
quite
dash and scan. I don't really like Scooby-Doo. I don't know any of the characters' real names. Velma is the best Scooby-Doo that exists.
Have you seen any of Velma yet?
I think I saw the first episode.
I know I watched.
Also, that is a
I think I
joke.
watched
A
the
pup
first
named
episode.
Scooby-Doo is the
That
best
is
Scooby-Doo.
that's true. Suck 'em on, it's
Mr.
Mr.
Time, you can help us solve the crime
with Scooby, a pup named Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo.
Fred Jones.
What was I talking about? Yeah, Onimai. So the gender bender aspect of anime over time, it's come more and more to the forefront. There's been trans anime characters. There's trans discourse is popular on the internet. There's people like me who have finally transitioned, even though I was like 29 or something like that. Most of a lot of the transness that you see on the internet, inevitably it's going to be the most beautiful people. So it's like young people who've started the transition early, and they're really successful at it, and they look really great, and that's what people are thinking when they think of trans women on the internet. But I'm a 29-year-old who had a beer gut and a beard for about 10 years. So when I started transition, I was not like thinking, oh, I'm going to become a moe girl or something like a lot of people seem to. It's more like I'm like a surly warrior woman type or something. Now I'm like very outdoorsy, so I spend most of my time like in outdoorsy clothes.
Outdoorsy clothes. Define outdoorsy clothes.
Well, actually, because of the fact that we were in the cold for the last couple weeks, I was mostly wearing layers and layers of pajama pants. But
should we talk a little bit about what we did for the last week?
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, the tragedy we survived yesterday.
Yeah, our tent almost fucking blew over on us yesterday morning. I almost said this morning because I haven't slept since then.
I had to sleep because I had been awake since 4:30 in the morning yesterday, and it was not just being awake; it was panic being awake because I didn't want to be blown off of a mountain.
Yeah,
Also,
we were really on the edge of a cliff with our campsite. I mean, it had a guardrail, but like we were on the edge of a cliff.
I've switched to easy mode on Overwatch, which is to say playing Lucio. All I have to do is stand around, and it does work. Like, who cares about lag?
But yeah, like
Ooh, Hanzo.
Yeah, like as I got into like my trans identity, I realized that like I was connecting with different types of anime characters, and it was much clearer to me how obvious it was that like anime was an expression of this like my fandom of this medium is largely couched in those feelings, So like even if it's just something as simple as Evangelion being like basically about feelings of disconnection and dissociation and wanting to connect with other people and feeling like you can't because there's all these barriers between you, like those barriers in my case is gender dysphoria. So whether that show even like really explicitly explores it or not, which some people would say that it does, some don't, it definitely at least plays with sexuality questioning in that Shinji is pretty gay for Kaoru, especially in the rebuilds. But like the anime that were really connecting with me, I was always like connecting with these girl characters that I'm simultaneously like, because I'm attracted to all genders. So for me, it was always confusing to be like, do I want to marry this girl or do I want to be this girl? And the answer is basically both. So like,
oh yeah.
But because
Tall
of the
boys
fact,
win again.
like, through my dysphoria, I had put up these really large gender barriers for myself. Where like I forced myself to connect with like the few male characters that I saw any of myself in, because I thought like, well, I have to connect with male characters. I can't connect with girl characters because that's for girls to do. Like, it's such a strange mental block, because that's not something that I think most people even fucking think about. That they're, like, you know, making a point to, you know, gender who they connect with, I guess. And even then, I still connect with characters like Samus, who's just, like, in a suit, you know? So, I've always...
Bird does spray
appreciated
work
the-
on grizzlies. I don't know what that means.
He's asking, does bear spray work on
Oh, I'm
grizzlies?
so. Sorry, I cannot read. I don't think it does, but I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in a place that had grizzly bears, and really, I only went there once. It was Sequoia, and it was they were not present.
Yeah, thankfully. They're apparently incredibly scary.
They are the scariest bear for sure.
But yeah, so as of me sort of recognizing that anime has always been like something that I'm kind of clinging to because it's an expression of gender. Once I didn't feel I needed it for that anymore because I could express my gender outwardly, I just didn't need anime the same way, and especially not the kinds of anime that I had been clinging to for so long, like the moe stuff and like, you know, stuff that embraced this feminine side that I didn't get to explore in myself. And I also realized that I'm not that feminine of a trans woman, you know. I'm not like K-On! Levels of fluffy rainbow. I mean, I guess if I connected to someone that, it would be Ritsu, who's also more of like a tomboy.
Is that the K-On! Member who hits people in the head with a bass guitar?
That's also a good example of a type of woman I'm more like. It's like a Haruko type than a...
Is that her name?
Yeah,
Haruko. That's a hell of a name.
Yeah. It's definitely fake. She's an alien.
Is she an alien?
Yes. She flies off on her bike at the end. She talks to the cat.
She talks to the cat. You can talk to a cat as not an alien.
So Ano just makes tokusatsu movies named Shin now that he does. Alright, I have to get to this next super chat, so I'm going to wrap up this rant I've been on. But basically, like, when I watched Onimai, I was like, this is such a shortcut to, like, if I had watched a show like this when I was 16, and I felt this way about a lot of new anime that's come out. I talked about that, what I called the kindest manga ever, I think. I fucking can't remember the name because it's long, but... there's this one trans-themed manga that, like, it basically just encapsulated exactly what I liked about all the moe stuff, but was explicit that this is about wanting to be the little girl, you know? And then Onimai is the same way, but just slightly more abstracted, because it's a science experiment that his younger sister's doing on him, but it turned him into a little sister. But, like... The point of it is that she's like, I think being a girl, I think living as a young girl would, like, mellow you out and make you appreciate
What
life.
would make him more honorable, I think, is exactly what she says.
Honorable?
Or something like that. Like, the point is he needs to get a job, right?
I don't even fucking...
Because he's a
It
manga.
just seems like she wants a cute little sister.
He's an
to hang out
otaku,
with,
that's what
honestly.
it is. Or no, what's hikikomori. He's a hikikomori.
Yeah. Speaking of somebody who's a hikikomori for a long time and then started identifying as a girl, yeah, it's pretty calming and it made things easier for me in life. So it's for me, it's just like, it's so hypertextual what it's saying that I'm like, yeah, I get it. I don't need a show like this, but I appreciate that it exists and that it's as pretty as it is. I'm sure it'll be great for some people who need to explore some of these thoughts. M&M with 15, I think those are shekels, if I remember correctly. Unless I'm thinking of a different country. Have you seen Shin Ultraman? It's no Shin Godzilla, but it's pretty good and written by Ano. Excited for Shin Kamen Rider this year. Wow, this year, damn. I have not seen Shin Ultraman yet, but I just this morning watched Best Guy Ever's video on it. And he really liked it, and so, I mean, it's a Hideaki Anno movie. I've liked pretty much everything the guy's done. I would be shocked if I did not enjoy Shin Ultraman. So yeah, I'm excited for it, but I haven't seen it yet. And that's the last of those rants that I have. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about what we've been up to. I can't really disclose any details of what we do for work because
We're cool.
We're on the internet and it's real life. But basically
We travel a lot.
we travel for this job incessantly, depending on it's really a bunch of different jobs. Every time we get work, we're doing something different, but it always involves traveling to a bunch of different places, often very fast. Like not like speed limit fast, like we actually drive, the speed limit so we don't like get pulled over, but we have to get from place to place pretty much as quickly as we can. So we're usually in town for like a night, or like maybe even just part of the day before we bust on to the next town.
Bust.
But this particular trip took us all the way up Kentucky. We live in southeastern Kentucky, so we went all the way up Kentucky through like every major city that's in it: Lexington, Louisville, Owensboro,
Owensboro was great.
Richmond. Owensboro ruled. It was a surprising little town. I would say it was more so than Reno, the biggest little city in the world. It felt like city energy, but tiny place, and just seemed really nice. We went to what was it called? What was the name of the bar there?
Brewbridge.
Brewbridge. It was a brewery and restaurant that. I don't remember if we had food. I think we got like a loaded nachos that they had to redo because they forgot the.
I asked for no sour cream, and
yeah, and sour cream.
it's the
is
first
the
time I
worst.
ever had to send anything back. We are actually dandy style bounty hunters. I would say it's a little closer to Bebop, but
yeah. Well. Either way, either show they always kind of end ass out, and we have a tendency to, make a bunch of money and then immediately spend it doing fun shit, and that's kind of what we've done on this trip. So, we went. Got another super chat, so I'm going to interrupt the story in just a second, but I'll just summarize the route that we took for work and then the route that we took back. So it was all the cities in Kentucky, a couple of cities in Indiana that are on the border of Kentucky because it's separated by the Ohio River. So the city is on both sides. And then we went down into... Did we have a site in Mississippi?
no, we just drove through it.
Okay, we drove through Mississippi and we had sites in Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm gaming.
And then, like... We went to Shreveport and then into Tyler, Texas,
Which was great.
which is another cute little town. We had an amazing experience at a ramen restaurant there, where like the waitress was incredibly nice. We ended up getting free alcohol because of being so effusively praising their sushi, and we also went to, I don't remember if it was a brewery or just a bar that had stuff from the local breweries, but that we went to and talked to some good old boys. But yeah, so we hung out in Tyler. We went to Dallas. That was where we did our last sites. And then I mentioned earlier that we hung out with our friend Bat Eater, Kale. So we went to his place, which is, not in Dallas, but in the vicinity in a place I will not disclose. So we went, visited him, and then from there, because we had just finished work, but we had, we're all the way back in Kentucky, we have to basically retrace this whole route. It's going to take several days. Instead of hurrying back home, let's take our time, see some fun stuff, do some camping, do some hiking, do some trails, see some fucking bison in a field. So
I have to use the restroom.
when we were in our last day in Dallas, at the hotel, Bird gets into a conversation with some old dude in the parking lot, and he's like a well-traveled guy, and he's like, "There's this place, if you're going into Oklahoma, you got to go to Sulphur. They got the Sulphur Healing Springs. The water that's highly sulfated. You go there for the healing waters, and you could smell it in the air." We were like, "Holy shit, we got to check this out." So we did, and we went to Chickasaw National Recreation Area, which is immediately south of this town of Sulphur. Tiny little town, great grocery store called Sooners Market, great wine store, winery rather, called the Rusted Nail, where we did like a whole wine flight. where they were fucking, bringing out the bottles. They had every piece of wine on memorabilia, every dumb joke about wine on every piece of cloth or fabric or woodwork that you could possibly fucking imagine in this place. So I spent the whole time just reading funny things on signs and getting shitted off of wine. Yeah, the actual Sulphur Spring smells, it basically smells and tastes exactly of boiled egg, in not a pleasant way. So, the Sulphur Spring is actually probably the least attractive thing about the place. But Chickasaw National Recreation Area, immediately south of it, has a ton of different campsites. They have a nature center where they have like a bunch of like cool animals, both living and taxidermied. They have all these trails to these different like Clearwater Springs. They have shitloads of little waterfalls, just fucking everywhere. There's these little waterfalls. One place called Little Niagara, that's like a bunch of standing pools you can actually swim in, which we were gonna do, but it rained the night before we went to go do that, and so the water was all nasty, and we were like, fuck that. But I have fuckloads of footage of us hiking around Chickasaw. We did a hike where we went from our campsite to Little Niagara, past this big like buffalo pasture they have right in the middle of the thing. Like there's a trail that just goes around it. So you have not buffalo, goddammit, bison. You can't get them confused. They're not that similar, but they're bison. So we went around the bison pit and we saw the bison. And I posted some pictures of this on Instagram and Twitter on Golden Witchfire if you haven't seen my shit. But all of it's been filmed for Picnic Adventure. So like, there's like an hour and a half of us doing this hike, and it was consistently entertaining to me, at least. Like, felt like every step of the way there was something different. So yeah, it was really cool we spent like 3 nights at 2 different campsites there. And the first one we had gone to, we had like this beautifully isolated spot with a view of a lake and like a beach nearby. And the second night we're there, like 8 o'clock p.m. the park ranger comes through and is like, hey,
we got a storm coming around 4 a.m. And I go, oh, we put up the rain fly, we'll be fine. And he goes, yeah, we might be expecting a tornado, so if you get a warning on your phones, the bathroom walls are 18-inch thick, and I did not know how to respond to that.
Yeah, so we were like, this is terrifying. So we were like, let's go get a bunch of alcohol and get really shit-faced and stay up all night. So we went to the grocery store, or no, the convenience store. We got stocked up, and Bird's asking like the people who work there, like, how worried do we need to be? And they're like, the tornadoes usually pass north of town, and you guys are south of town, so it'll probably be fine. We were like, all right, that's somewhat reassuring. And it's getting windy, and as we're back at the campsite, we keep hearing like coyotes like nearby, and just like, it was getting rowdy at night. So we're pointing our flashlights around, we're listening to the last podcast on the left, we're getting drunk off of mead. We got a Breaking Brew meadery in, what's that town outside of Dallas?
Branch.
Farmers Branch.
You find yourself in Farmers Branch, go to the best meadery in Dallas, and dare I say the United States.
Yeah, they're awesome. It was a really fun place. We went there a couple times.
Great reward system as well.
And we got a fuckload of mead. So we were drinking mead and listening to podcasts and having a spooky time, and we very quickly got tired and passed the fuck out and slept right through that storm.
And the whole night we're
just
tornadoes! The whole night we're just like, we're not going to be able to sleep tonight. Immediately, as soon as we get in the tent, we pass it.
2 IPAs later, done. 1 IPA later, actually, done. Of course, we got the F5 IPA, which has like a little F5 rating, tornado on it.
It is the rating of the worst tornado, and dare I say, a bad name for beer.
Yeah. So I'll get more of this story after I answer these super chats. Jacob Wagner with $5 says, do you think Shinji is actually bi? I think it defeats the point of Kaoru if he would have been attracted to him if he was more mentally stable. I don't think it defeats the point. I had this debate with myself as a matter of identity growing up, because I had, when I was 14, a period where I was like, I think I'm bi, and I tried to e-date a guy for about a week, and talking to him on the phone, I just realized like how unattractive I found his personality.
That is what the community calls an ick.
Yeah, exactly. I got the ick. And so I kind of jumped ship on men altogether after that. Because I just kind of figured, like, well, this was just a phase. I'm more into women. But again, I think my feeling that I was more into women was because of that double layering of like being attracted to them and also wanting to be like them, you know, or be involved. And like the more that I have, you know, embraced my own identity, the easier it is for me to communicate with women without feeling like sexual attraction is in the way of it, or like it's like a necessary result of conversation or something, which I think is something that poisons a lot of guys who, you know, like are always in the back of their mind thinking, well, I could get laid with this girl, you know, and it's like you just kind of don't need to have,
you know,
that
it's
there.
just tall boys. They're changing the story.
So speaking personally, it's like I went through a long phase of thinking, well, in the same way that I was just kind of flirting with it at a time where I was indeterminate about my identity, maybe Shinji is also doing that with Kaoru, and it's just that he's so fucking lonely because he, you know, Rei and Asuka's pretty much catatonic. So,
But when isn't she?
yeah. But I mean, I don't think it's fair to say that he's not still, like, say, attracted to Misato at that point, who's still around and, you know, kisses him in End of Evangelion. So it's not as though he's without the ability to, like, have a woman that he could be interested in. Kaoru shows him a lot of affection, and I think he just realizes that he's, like, he's just more receptive to the affection than, you know, than the direct sexual contact necessarily. And it's not even that they so much portray Shinji as being, like, you know, horned up for Kaoru or anything, but, like, it does seem like he feels an infatuation, you know, through the attention that he's getting. And so, I think it's probably fair to say that if he's attracted to a guy for any reason, then yeah, he's bisexual, because otherwise there's just no reason he would have ever entertained those thoughts. And, you know, obviously I feel that way because I myself am now with a man, you know, attracted to men all the time. So it's just like a different matter of how you're thinking about, like, what makes someone attractive. And I think Shinji in that moment is realizing that there's other things he might be attracted to than just, like, the raw sexuality of a woman's body that he's seeing, like in the cases of Rei and Asuka. Music. I'm glad you asked me that, by the way, because you know, I like being able to word out my thoughts on Evangelion. Muse of Salzburg with Australian $5. Glad to hear you're keeping yourself busy. Give me a hot take on food. Hot take on food. You can eat a lot more steak than they say you can and still be healthy. Because in the time that I've lived with Bird, we consume probably more steak than anything else. You know, if not burger, and, like, we just mix it up with stuff. And even then, it's just a matter of not eating too much. Like, I got a massive stomach ache last night. I was up a lot of the night because of the fact that we've just gone off of, you know, a week of camping where every single time we want to eat, you have to prepare the food, and it takes forever, you know. You have to build a fire. The way we're doing it anyways, we're building a fire, you know, heating up coals, getting the pan hot, getting everything prepped. Everything has to be cleaned afterwards, you know, and stored. So it's like, it's an endeavor to eat, so you do it when you're really hungry, and you eat in enough, like, you eat quickly and you get full quickly, and then you just keep going, you know. And we might not even eat twice in a day if it was a filling enough meal. And, like, the what was the exact combination that was your favorite on this trip?
Gosh, let me look it up real quick, because I don't remember offhand.
I think I do. It's like hash browns, steak,
smoked steak cut very thin, hash browns, garlic, a bell pepper, some eggs, slap your mama Cajun seasoning, butter, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so we ate that a few times. It was really fucking delicious, especially on a cold winter camping day when you're trying to put fat and heat and salt into your body. So, like, we got home.
Black licorice is the best candy. Salted black licorice is the best candy.
We got today we drove home from yesterday. Fuck. Yesterday,
I know it's the same day. So
yesterday, we were at a Tennessee state park called
Fort Pillow.
Fort Pillow, which was like a Civil War bunker fort place that had been taken over by both sides.
It was originally a Union fort, and then it was taken over by Nathan Bedford Forrest, who was for the Confederacy, and who Forrest Gump is named after.
Amazing. And yeah, so it was full of like Confederate and I guess just Civil War history in general, but more so it's just a really pretty place that has particularly where our campsite was, an overview of the Mississippi River. So we got to, literally camp on basically the side of a cliff overlooking the Mississippi, and like an offshoot lake of it called the Chute. So it was a really pretty place, and it just so happened that the night we got there, which was the 25th, they were also doing a 15K there. That's just like organized by some people from Memphis who, wanted to do a run through the woods. All of them insisted it was the stupidest run because there's always hazardous weather every year. But they seem to like doing it. So these people, they invited us. The guy who runs the thing invited us over because there was a keg, and we were like, "Fuck yeah!" So we go to this little bonfire party with 12 or so, Memphis runners who were all talking about fucking where to get your meats and shit, and
just to
what
be clear,
we've been up to.
Jacob Wagner said Bedford Forrest was in the KKK. He was in the Confederacy.
Yeah.
Of course, yes.
He was a bad guy.
He was not a good person. That was not what I was trying to imply. He's just happens to be who Forrest Gump is named after.
Yeah. Although he says
I wonder
he
if
felt
that's
bad
going to
about
get
it
changed in the
later,
book.
though. Apparently he felt bad about being in the KKK. So maybe he came around or something.
Good for him.
Anyway, we hung out with these people, and then the next night we were completely alone. We had drank way too much of the keg, so we were both out of it. We were just we're gonna sleep in today.
Anonymous, that person, Huckleberry Finn's friend, he's not taught in school anymore.
Oh yeah, they kicked him out.
I can't say his name. Sorry,
says,
I never learned
just
it in
like
school.
history.
No, that's cool. I was just, I wasn't trying to imply that he was a good person or anything.
We stayed in bed for most of the day, and then it got super fucking windy that night, and the ground at this, where their campsites are set up, they basically have layers and layers of just these little pebbles, and so the tent stakes you could push in and out with just your hands.
Well, no, it was terrible.
So they're just not really staked in, and so this wind starts kicking up, and it keeps pulling the tent stakes out and fucking with the wind fly and shit. So we open up all the rainfly. We open up all the windows on the tent to let the wind pass through more easily, and it's just terrifying because we're well, I don't want to I hope the tent doesn't get damaged by all this fucking wind that's blowing and howling. And like you said, we're on kind of on the cliffside. If it was really crazy, if a tornado really came through and hit us, it wouldn't be impossible to take us off the cliff. But I still managed to get some decent sleep. But Bird was up from 4:30 in the morning, and then we drove 6 hours home. We stopped in the middle in Nashville to go to Joyland, which is it's a concept
fast food restaurant.
It's a fast food restaurant that's a little too expensive and a little too slow to really be considered a fast food restaurant, but it's so fucking good. And they have crust burgers, which are the most thin smashed burgers possible.
I'm gonna switch to Cyberpunk.
The cheese just fucking oozes all in it, and it's so fucking good. And they also have they do all their chicken with thigh meat, so it's got a unique flavor. It's just kind of expensive, but yeah, we stopped there and got pretty full then. This is me still on a hot take about food, by the way, in case this wasn't clear. So we got full on that food, and then we came home, and then Bird made basically the same thing as what we described earlier, but with rice instead of hash browns. And
No, there were still hash browns in it.
Oh,
It was
hash
just because
browns
I
and
used the
rice.
leftover hash browns.
I
on that
ate
one day.
a silly amount of it.
I also ate
a
a silly
lot
amount
of
of
that
it.
stuff.
What's going on
And
here?
then we made cinnamon rolls, and I ate like 4 cinnamon rolls. And then, what is going on? What's happening? What are you
I'm
doing?
trying to start Cyberpunk.
Okay, the Steam?
No. Steam says it's running.
Oh. The tingles. I taught Bird about Man's Not Hot. He hadn't heard it when it was a meme. And on the way to one of our campsites, we were about 20 minutes out, and Bird, I guess, didn't have service, but had already loaded Man's Not Hot, so he played it for 20 straight minutes. And now it's permanently embedded into my brain. And then on the way home, after we went to the Joyland, I was like, after a while, I was kind of out of it, man. It's quiet. Let's listen to something. And so he played the whole remix album of Man's Not Hot. So now I really know Man's Not Hot pretty well. But yeah, so we got home. We ate a stupid amount of food. I think I had another big bowl of cereal after that, and then like a Mountain Dew, and
I don't know what it was asking me to do.
and now I'm only now like, does my stomach feel okay? But I feel fatter than fuck.
It's not running though, Steam.
I don't really know what the hot take on food was and all that. I just talked about being bloated, I guess. Oh yeah, my hot take was you can eat a lot more steak than you think. So just don't add all that other shit onto it. M with 6 shekels says, "Are you planning to continue Bird Friends play?" So I'm more inclined to have Bird do streaming, and we were thinking that we would make a new channel for streaming because Bird Friends Play is not a streaming channel; it's a Let's Play channel. We released like I think 2 episodes of Dark Souls 3, but that's a complete playthrough. I have it all. I have the whole thing. I just have to edit the whole thing into pieces, and that wouldn't be too complicated. Back in November, I was basically experimenting with like how quickly can I get like a month of videos scheduled. So with Bird Friends Play, the experiment was like within the span of about 2 weeks, I edited all of the Zelda playthrough, which I've been holding on to for like a year, and was like 23 hours originally, and was cut down to like 4. So I was heavily edited. So I did all of that, and edited like a month's worth of Picnic Adventure between like highlight clips from the live streams that we had done while like walking around town and stuff, and then just footage that I had been holding on to, to make this show for the last like 8 months. So I figured out like what editing style I wanted to go forward with for that channel. Edited a fuckload of those videos. So within like 1 week, I had a month worth of both channels, a month and a half of Bird Friends Play, and a month of Picnic Adventure. And then we recorded the Dark Souls 3 Let's Play. So it was probably like a 4 or 5 days of recording, and then I basically was like, all right, I can take a little break and do something else. And so I did some other experiment probably. And then, when it came to, I think that was all in like October. And so when November rolled around, I was like, all right, time to load in the next month, So I started editing the Picnic Adventures that we had stocked up. I started editing the Dark Souls Let's Play. But this was around when we started getting work. And I realized that like these channels are so far away from monetization. Like the way that YouTube getting like approved for monetization now, you have to have 4,000 watch hours within the last year. So not only are you working against time where like your old videos stop counting towards your goal, but it basically necessitates that you have to get like a certain amount of watch hours, a certain amount of time, which means a successful video. Those videos are successful compared to not having anything coming out, and they're good for building brand and like getting the identity of Bird out there and like the kinds of things that he can be involved with, as well as promoting Picnic Adventure, which we're just going to keep doing forever because we go on picnic adventures all the time and film them.
It's our favorite activity.
It is our favorite thing to do, is to make a picnic adventure. And I mean, I don't film that much of it. Like, I usually just film, because I don't have a fucking ton of data on my phone. I film all of it on my iPhone. I have to do it in 4K for the files to come out looking good at all in the final render.
To the point, it's the amount of data you have on your phone. It's gotten to the point where I told her that the new iPhone has a terabyte, and she went, "Oh, really? Only a terabyte?"
Yeah, I was like, I'd like to. But, yeah, it just takes up a shitload of data, so I try to film only like key moments and stuff that will make sense as a like themed video. So like if there's a specific hike or a specific part of like the park that we go to, or if it's you cooking, because I can always incorporate, you know, the picnic aspect. But like a lot of the times we're just making the same food over and over again, so it's not going to be exciting to always film the cooking, you know, unless it's in like a really unique spot or something.
Or we got a really unique piece of beef. Like,
yeah.
Did we film the grass-fed ribeye at all? Because I know that was the first time we'd gotten that. Well,
I don't think I filmed.
Oh no! I'll have to buy more grass-fed beef. What am I going to do?
I didn't film very much of Fort Pillow because when we got there, my phone. And so I spent the first day transferring a bunch of files, and then it was pretty much nightfall by the time that was done. And the second day, we slept most of the day, so I only got a few clips there. But I have plenty of footage of you reviewing beers at Lake Ocmulgee.
That was fun.
Which was where we went between. So I described earlier how we were at Chickasaw National Refuge Recreation Area south of Sulphur, Oklahoma. Great place. Loved it there. 3 awesome days. One of those days, like, it went from being like 45 degrees one day to like 80 the next, and that was the day we did all the hiking and stuff. So that
we
was
even bought
fun.
Swim trunks, but
I would not go there in the summertime because it will be, everything I've heard, it's very, very hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next place we went after that was further on the eastern end of Oklahoma. We passed through Oklahoma City, which is like my favorite city in America.
Oklahoma City
is some
rules.
Amazing fucking
breweries.
Breweries. My favorite was Skydance.
Skydance is the best brewery. I mean, other than Stone, I'd have to say, because I love Stone.
Yeah, Stone is pretty awesome. Stone also has like the cheapest beer for the quality at their places. It's like $6 for a 36-ounce can. But yeah, so we went to some breweries, we picked up some beers, we went to Lake Ocmulgee, absolutely fucking beautiful place. Again, you can see pictures of it on my Twitter or Instagram. Actually, I don't think I've posted them on Twitter yet, but on Instagram you can find at Golden Witch Fire pictures of Ocmulgee. And I took a bunch of video of beer reviews. Then we went to Fort Pillow in Tennessee. Actually, no. Then we tried to go and camp at a place called Horseshoe Bend outside Springdale in Arkansas, which is Walmart country. Basically, it's a bunch of small towns up in the upper west corner of Arkansas that are like up on the Ozark Plateau. So you're basically this whole section of Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Mississippi Missouri is raised up on a plateau about 1,000 feet in the air. And it's super hilly and it's full of cows. It's just all fucking cow farms constantly. Until you get to this conglomerate of small towns, very suburban, where there's fucking Walmarts in every single one of them. It's like
Bentonville.
8 little towns.
Yeah.
All of them have their own Walmart. The one in Bentonville,
Springdale, a couple different creeks or something.
Yeah. I think Bentonville's the one we stopped in, right?
Yeah, and that was the biggest one we've ever been to.
It was the biggest Walmart ever, and it was apparently the town of the first Walmart. So probably was the first Walmart, maybe? Or at least a revamped version of the first Walmart. But it was fucking massive. So we stopped there to pick up food and supplies, and it's like night falling as we reach Horseshoe Bend, and all of their tent campsites are closed in spite of competing information from the internet. So we were shit out of luck to camp there unless we wanted to rent an RV space, and we had to rent it for 2 nights if that was the case, and it was not a place that had that much to do. So we're like, fuck this. We stopped at just some
There
random
were a lot of
rest
geese,
area
though.
in Arkansas and slept for, I don't know, 8 hours or whatever, and then because we recently, we're not going to describe the car yet because I don't think it's been in any videos yet.
I don't think so.
But we got a roomier car that we're covering in stickers from everywhere we go, and it's not a bad sleeping experience, at least for a night. So,
yeah,
which
it's
we did a
much
couple
more
of times
doable
on
than
this
the
trip.
Prius.
But yeah, like, because we did it we did it before, like, on the way into Oklahoma. We just, like, napped at an Oklahoma rest area, and that was pretty nice. I woke up feeling great, listening to the Ignition remix by R. Kelly.
It's a remix to
that
Ignition.
Kale introduced us to, and now I'm obsessed with it because it's amazing. It just makes you feel good instantly.
I mean, it's hot and fresh out the kitchen. How could it not
Mama
make
be
you feel
rolling
good?
that body, got every minute here wishing, sipping on coke and rum. I'm like, so what? I'm drunk. It's the freaking weekend, baby. We can go and have me some fun. All right. Nosferatu man gave me $5 and asked, did you ever finish or have any updated thoughts on Gunslinger Girl? No, I never did. Someone that I used to know had read it, read all of my copies, and was like, oh, it's really good and you should definitely read it because you'll probably have a lot to say about it. And I was like, maybe I will. And I think I read like a couple chapters and I was just kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I've grown out of being the person who would think that this is like the coolest shit ever, because I was like 16 when I was like heavily into Gunslinger Girl. And looking back on it now, it's really funny because I remember writing an article where I was saying that it had like the best looking fight scenes in manga, and like, no, it looks kind of like ass a lot of the time. The anatomy is really fucked up, and like some scenes have like really interesting pacing, but if you've read like real legit action manga, then it kind of blows it out of the water. So like on like a technical level, I feel like it probably wouldn't have reached me the same way if I had been introduced to it as an adult, as a younger person. And so I don't know if I can do my own younger self justice by like reading it and having an opinion on it as the person I am today. Just let myself down. Are we drunk? No. Bird pretty much just woke up. I've been up all night. So if I sound drunk, it's because I've been up all night.
Someone asked if we've seen the Cyberpunk anime yet. I have. B hasn't. She
Yeah.
saw bits and pieces of it.
I watched the first episode with you, and I was like, it's alright. It kind of reminds me of every other Trigger and Hiroyuki Imaishi anime, so I was kind of struggling with that. But Bird ended up finishing it, and I guess thought it picked up enough that he was like, I gotta play this fucking Cyberpunk game now.
I will say
pretty much
another...
expressed no interest in this game till after watching that anime.
Someone did say it's crazy how lifeless this game looks. That is a great way of describing how it is, but it's still fun. It's like a high-tech Grand Theft Auto.
I like this weapon you're using right now. It looks
Say
like
monowire is what it's called.
monowire. I'm gonna be rolling that body. Now it's really stuck in my head. I started putting together a playlist today based on that song called just like Feeling Fucking Awesome. It's just songs to listen to if you want to feel fucking awesome right away. That song, Angels by Chance, I by Kendrick Lamar, Alicia Keys, what's the song called? God damn it. If I Ain't Got You, is that the name of the song? I think so. Yeah. Good fucking songs. Anyways, pretty much summarized our whole trip, I think. I don't know if there's anything we should add. One night in Oklahoma with a, hey, there might be a tornado that we end up sleeping through a kind of a windstorm. And then a night in Tennessee, totally unexpected, massive fucking windstorm that almost blows our tent over. But honestly, mostly just because of how shitty the stakes were. Or not the stakes, but the ground that the stakes were in. The inability to stake our tent properly, goddammit. So yeah, we we hightailed it home, and now we're here. And again, I've been up all night because during that drive, I was reinstating every single video on the main channel and giving them all new descriptions that say, "Hi, I'm Trixie the Golden Witch, and this is one of my archive channels. Here's a list of all the other places that I'm at," and copy-pasting that into descriptions over and over again on my phone on the way home. Then I got to the After Dark channel, and I was like, there's no fucking way that I'm going to individually do this for every video. I need to do this in mass bulk, which you can't do on your phone. So when we got home, and after we were hanging out, you know, saying hi to our roommates and stuff for a long while, I started working on re-uploading the After Dark channel and realized it was going to take fucking forever. Because you can only do it in, like, batches of a page at a time. I mean, you can do all of them at once. It will take, like, hours. But I wanted to make sure I didn't accidentally upload anything that was not really, like, content. So... You know, it took like probably 3 or 4 hours or something to actually upload all that. And in that meantime, Bird passed out because he had been, you know, up since the wee hours. So I waited for him to wake up before I would do this stream. And then even after he woke up, we had to go to the post office and finish registering the car. So I've been up for fucking ever. So if I sound drunk or something or whatever, it's because I've been up all fucking night. And I intend to do this stream for a long while because I really want people to know that all my videos are back up. And I also want to get more super chats because it's February 28th, the last day of the month. And the way that YouTube pays you is that whatever money you get for a month, you get on the 22nd of the next month. So if I want to get some YouTube chat revenue on the 22nd of March, I have to get it right now. And that's why I was like, I'm going to stream as soon as we get home. But of course I was wrong. And here we are. Ellen Horizon says, I stayed up really late waiting for the stream to happen, lol. Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm right there with you. I figured, you know, I didn't think it would be so late into the AM. But I said on Twitter, I said it's taken forever to upload all these, to get all these fucking After Dark videos posted. I'll see you deep in the AM. And it was about as deep into the AM as you can get. It was very close to not being the AM anymore. It was like 10:30, I think, by the time we started. But, you know, we're here now. And we're sticking around. So, you better prepare yourself for the long haul. But, yeah, it was a long night, and I spent most of it digesting all that food I described myself eating earlier. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that needs to be said about our travels. It's just really pretty. Again, follow my Instagram. I post pictures of the sun and the moon every single day, and I have been since the start of the year. I've been tracking the celestial bodies. And what else do I do? I guess I just post cool pictures of us on our travels and say bad takes. We saw Quantumania. That was really good. We both really loved it. Bird says it's his favorite Marvel movie ever.
Quantumania is incredible. MODOK is the best story arc they've had in a while. Jonathan Majors is great.
Jonathan Majors is the best thing that's ever happened to movies.
Holy shit, that guy looks like broccoli is probably the
Holy shit, that guy looks like broccoli.
It was a very good movie. I really like that Michael Douglas finally got to, like, ant it up, you know? As soon as I'm just going to kind of spoil the movie. At one point in the movie, Michael Douglas has crashed his ship, and he starts getting, like, ant chatter over the communications, and he's not sure what it is, but I knew what it was, and so I just started going, ants, 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 ants. And then he has, like, a whole endgame scene with the ants where he, like, starts attacking all the bad guys. Literally preempted by Jonathan Majors going, "You talk to ants!"
Yeah.
And then
a giant wave of huge ants shows up. Super technology. Like, ants that have been...
They've gone through, like, thousands of generations and have created a society in the quantum realm.
They're like super ants. They're like genius ants.
And then I started really going, ants, 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 ants,
ants.
I really thought Ant-Man was going to die in the final fight, and I'm glad he doesn't. But anyway,
I enjoyed it quite a bit, and we also saw it at the Alamo Draft House,
which was really nice.
It's the first time I've ever been, and if you've never heard of it, so I had
Real
always
quick,
heard.
Igor's, you are totally within your rights to be wrong.
The Alamo Draft House, I had always heard of its reputation for being a place that you can't talk during movies. That they're like a really strict indie theater, and they play movies before, or they play like clips of stuff related to the movie before the movie. That's all I knew of it. So I thought it was gonna be like a little indie theater somewhere in Texas. That because I've been to little indie theaters before, but it's actually like a big ass fucking multiplex chain.
It's got like multiple stories. There's a restaurant in it. There's a bar in it.
And you have like recliner seats with like tables that they, like full weight service bring you food out to, and the food is good food. I will say I would prefer it be like maybe a couple dollars less, but it's movie theater food that's good and not really that overpriced for how good it is. So the one we went to, this was literally purely a case of we're like heading to Oklahoma, and we're not going to show up in time to set up camp before dark because of how late we left our friend's house. But at the same time, so we won't be able to make it to camp, but it's too late, it's too far from it being late for us to be tired enough to fall asleep at a rest area, so let's go see Quantumania now. And we're just driving through on our way to Oklahoma. What's around? What are the nearby movie theaters? We're looking at a dinner in a movie place. It looks kind of shitty. The screen looks all washed out. It's got some mixed reviews. And then I noticed the words Alamo Draft House in this town we happen to be coming upon. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure these guys played one of my videos before. Because, and I'm correct about this, I was once asked permission for one of my Psycho-Pass videos. I think the one about the movie, because I'd reviewed it as soon as it was available through Japanese Blu-rays, which I believe is before the American release came out. So I'm pretty sure they played my review of the Psycho-Pass movie, or at least one of my Psycho-Pass videos. It might have even been the shot comparison between 1 and 2. I don't know. They played a Psycho-Pass video of mine before the Psycho-Pass movie once. And so, again, this is why I thought it must be a little indie theater. I was not expecting it to be like a major-ass theater chain that's that is itself clearly they get paid by the movies to play certain clips before. There are bespoke clips featuring the actors from the films and people relevant to the films that are only played at Alamo Draft House because they play stuff before the movie. So not only are they playing the Nude Tane clip from Tim and Eric Awesome Show of
Paul Rudd,
watching himself be weird characters on his computer, which is fucking hilarious, and which fit into the themes of the movie in a surprising way. But also, just all kinds of fun shit, and then there were the trailers and all. But the food was great. The one we went to this place, and the guy says, our pizza chef is the guy who trains all the pizza chefs at all the other ones. So I was like, well, gotta get the pizza. And they had some weird-ass special thing where it was I think it might have even been a Brussels sprouts pizza. It was something that was obviously unappealing in a way that had to be appealing, and so of course it was. Again, maybe not $17 worth of good, but for an artisan pizza at a movie theater, it was a great experience. All I'm saying is I had an amazing time at the Alamo Draft House, and I really enjoyed Quantumania.
Igor, is just to be kind, you are absolutely correct. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is incredible. It was so good.
We also saw that in theaters, and that was really nice.
Little Jack Horner, or Big Jack Horner, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oof,
Big Jack
he's going to come for me now.
Great villain.
Wagner Moura playing the Big Bad Wolf, and that's what I'm going to call him because it's kind of a... But that was really good.
Spoiler, you mean, to say who he really is.
Kind of a spoiler to say who he really is. It was a great movie. Not quite as good as Quantumania, but up there.
It was interesting because we rewatched most of Puss in Boots 2, and I enjoyed it more on the rewatch in the sense that I was used to what it is, because it's very different from the first movie. And you would not take me to see Puss in Boots 2 until I had watched Puss in Boots 1, which I had not seen. So I watched it. and I ended up really enjoying it. I thought like the characterization was really solid. I really liked the relationship between Puss and Humpty Dumpty. I thought it was like a strongly written arc of the movie. So I was like, wow, that was surprisingly fun. And then the second one is like so much more, like there's a lot more going on. It's more of a, not like a, I don't know if heist movie is the right way to put it, but
it's a heist movie.
It's an adventure, like, get the item movie, and it's got so much going on that I wasn't sure how I felt about all of it the first time because I didn't know where it was going or what it was trying to be in comparison to the first movie. But when I saw it again, I was like, yeah, all this stuff is really strong. Like, it's just really fun to watch. The animation is so good, and it's clearly taking influences from like Spider-Verse and Promare and stuff, and like and Arcane, in a way that's like, yes, 3D animation in the West is going to be as good as 3D animation is getting in the East. It's all going to be, 3D animation's getting really good, is what I'm trying to say. And Puss in Boots obviously has the advantage of simplistic animal characters to help that even look better. So that was a good movie. I have to take a pee, so I'm going to do that real quick. You can talk about Cyberpunk if you like, or something.
I found an access card, and I'm trying to figure out what it goes to. That's where I'm at right now. Wouldn't be in junk. The inventory system in this game is a little hard to understand. I don't know, this game is not totally friendly if you've never played it before and have no concept of it, but I mean, I think watching Edgerunners was enough to at least understand what people were talking about with it. Where the hell is this little data card thing I just got? Do I need to leave and come back? Sometimes it does that to you. I do not know. I guess I'll leave and come back then. But yeah, I've played all the way through well, not all the way through. I beat this game once and got the bad ending where you submit yourself to Arasaka. What is my favorite anime? My favorite anime is probably K or Another. I like K visually more, and I like Another's story more, but I think they're pretty on par with each other. Trying to think if there's anything else I hold up as high as those two. Edgerunners was really good. K and Another. Do I talk about other anime more than I talk about those two?
No, definitely
I didn't think so. Yeah, those are my favorites for sure.
I'd have to like. I mean, I know you really liked Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
I did.
Doesn't come up when you think anime.
It's hard to sell that one to people.
When we watched it, you did say, I think that was the greatest TV show I've ever seen.
It probably was, but it's like a TV show more than it's like an anime. I don't know. It doesn't have cool fight scenes like Another does.
You mean the one between the girl and the fucking,
and the umbrella. I meant
umbrella?
K. I meant K. But yeah, I just really... K has a lot of very fun use of color, because all of the powers in that show come from colors, more or less. It's kind of weird, but it's real fun.
All right, I have a couple more of these super chats I have to answer. Anton Town. With $2 asked Bocchi thoughts. I have not seen any of Bocchi the Rock. I've seen a lot of hype for it. It seems to be the latest, like, hey, this cute girl show's better than all the other ones. Bakaraptor had a video called Bocchi the Rock is better than K-On! But he's never really liked K-On!, so I don't know how much of praise that is going to be. I haven't watched it yet. But I've seen a lot of people on Twitter hyping it up. The artwork doesn't immediately grab me in a way that makes me, I have to watch this. This is definitely going to be my kind of show, but I'm sure it's good considering how much praise it's gotten, how dedicated the fan base seems to be. And Malcolm Lamb with $5 says, wife just got back from a business trip to Japan. Manga is $3 a volume over there. I thought of your old video about how overpriced it is here. SMH. Yeah, that video should be back online now because all the videos are back up. But yeah, manga is overpriced, light novels are overpriced, and honestly they've only gone more in that direction. Like, because it's the only way to keep the industry alive. And like I also appreciate, with American releases, they are often of like a higher print quality. They have to be translated, so that's like a whole other person you have to pay.
But sorry, I was gonna say something mean.
But like, what, like you don't really have to pay them that much?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, they don't make a ton, but the market basically was dying until they started going premium and trying to be more selective about what they release, make sure it's going to be a hit, and that people will pay, whatever amount of money for it. But yeah, it seems to only be getting more overpriced. I haven't been to a bookstore in a while because it's hard for me to walk into a store full of manga and not end up buying something, and I usually feel like a sense of guilt because I know I'm never going to fucking finish the manga. I'm never going to want to buy all of the volumes. I'm always just going to be interested in, like, I'm a lot more likely to buy something if it's a one-off, that, like, I could just read right through and be like, it sits in my collection and maybe I'll even read it again. But, like, if I have to buy 10 volumes, I'm just never going to end up doing it. I've thought about maybe buying like the whole Colossal Attack on Titan set because I want to read the manga, but that's a lot of money, and like I have other things I'd rather spend my money on. I spent most of the money in my life wasted, so I'm trying to make sure that all of the money that's coming in now is either going towards like really awesome, memorable experiences or some kind of actual investment, something that's like going to remain worth a thing into the future, even if only to me. Like stuff like anime figures and DVDs and stuff like that, I have a tendency to lose interest in after enough time and then be like, why do I have this? And DVDs you can resell, and some of them become worth more money than before, so they can be an investment in a sense. But like figurines that you take out of the box and don't take care of, pretty much worthless.
Never take anything out of a box. New laptop, leave it in the box. It'll be worth more money in 20 years. That's a joke. That's a joke. Do not do it. We do not give investment advice here.
Well, also, computers definitely are worth less the second they exist. Although, not the parts always. Because there was the whole parts boom of the coronavirus.
Those were mostly new parts.
Sure, but even, like, old parts were, like, more expensive than they had been, like, than they should have been,
I just walked up to this weapon vendor and he went, "Just leave." It was pretty rude of him.
Oh, there's like a...
Oh yeah, so now it tells you when people super chat for the first time. I thought that was cute.
It says to me, celebrate the first super chat from Malcolm Lamb, like under the super chat. I'm like, what is this? When did this happen? There's a lot of weird little updates to YouTube that, like, I've only been gone for a couple months and already they changed the whole game on me. But that's YouTube's systems, I know they just switched ownership too. Susan Washiki stepped down or whatever. Wajciki.
I don't know how to pronounce it. That was my best guess.
Whatever it is. Yeah. So I don't know, but I submitted a preposterous number of appeals on this channel last night. So if my channel suddenly disappears in the next day, it will be because a bunch of them got rejected or something. I don't know how the rules work anymore. I don't know how easy it is to get taken down for this shit. But basically any video I had that was blocked, I appealed, and except for like the best OPs and best EDs list, because they're blocked a billion ways. There's no way I'm getting those back. But like anything that was blocked, I tried to appeal. Anything that's demonetized, I've tried to appeal. So yeah, I went through like a billion appeals processes last night, and it was just a little bit subtly different from how it used to be. Mr. Spoodersaurus the Grith with $10 says, apparently Hideaki Anno is going to make the Evangelion franchise into more like Gundam, like having different creators work on Eva and have a different take with it, like Mobile Fighter G Gundam. That is astonishingly makes me feel very prescient, because I was just having a talk about Eva recently in which I came to the conclusion that there's no way Anno is done with it. That like there's obviously going to be more. The thought of having other people work on it makes me a bit fearful, especially after seeing what happened with Fooly Cooly. And now, granted, I have only watched one of those Fooly Cooly sequels. I've heard the other ones are better. I'm still fearful of even checking those out because I really hated the immediate sequel. Maybe I'd even feel differently about that one if I rewatched it. I don't know. At the time, I really was not feeling it. There's a video about that, of course. I think Anno might inevitably end up coming back to Eva. I think if he lives long enough, and, you know, is satisfied enough with all this other shit he's getting to do now, that he's clearly, you know, having the time of his life, making these tokusatsu movies and shit, and having a whole, like, career renaissance, and he finally made peace with Eva in 3.0 plus 1.0. So if he's at peace with it, surely he can be even more like into it than ever before. Like maybe he'll have a better time. Like now that the expectations of an Ava sequel are like behind us, you know, you can really just go crazy with it at this point. So I'll be shocked if Anno himself never steps in and does another Ava. In the same way that Tomino completely quit Gundam after Victory, you know, 93 or whatever. He's like, fuck this, I'm done, you can do G Gundam. And then he ends up doing Turn A, and then he ends up doing G-Recco. So I think it's just as likely that Anno will come back with another Evangelion, some fucking CG thing with whatever the next step of technology is. When he's like, I realized what I could do with this to make a new Ava. I'm having some Ava ideas based on this technology, and then it's going to happen. That's my bold prediction. But yeah, just the fact that I was like, just the other day saying this, and then you're like, oh yeah, he's literally making it a franchise. I'm like, I knew it. I fucking knew it. I would love the source on that also, because I haven't heard anything about this. But, I mean, it already is in manga form at the very least. There's I think slightly less than a dozen spin-off Ava manga, and I think there's more than a dozen light novel spin-off Avas. There's more than a dozen video games that have their own lore. The characters are all over Super Robot Wars. Like, there's just so much extra Ava baggage that it only makes sense to keep making anime out of it also. So those shoegaze and grunge haven't come out yet. Okay. That's good to know. Do I have a Mal account anymore? Yeah, it's the_golden_witch. I don't think I've updated it anytime recently. Not that I've watched a ton of anime recently.
Whoa, Jacob Wagner hates Star Wars? That's not cool. Star Wars is the best. I would say the most recent 3 movies are definitely the best in the series.
You're lying. You lie.
No. I am all of the Sith. I am all of the Jedi. That was such a good moment. When she makes her own lightsaber and it's yellow, what does that even mean? What's she gonna do? She's a Jedi Sentinel now. I haven't
seen this movie. I didn't know there was a yellow lightsaber.
Yeah, she buries Luke and Leia's lightsabers. Oh, Leia has a lightsaber. I don't know if you knew that.
Okay, well.
Because Leia was training to be a Jedi, but then her son was evil, and she was like, "Nah, this is bad." And then she used the Force anyway. I don't know. It was a joke. Those are not the best movies, but I like them.
In response to saying like Ava is too big of an IP, it's definitely going to be around. Yeah, I really do believe we are in the era of IP. Like having a strong IP is the most important thing you can have. Honestly, it's again I was saying earlier that like experimenting with Bird Friends Play and Picnic Adventure. A big part of my motivation for getting out so many videos so quickly is that I just want people to have seen Bird's face a lot.
It's a good face. Many people have said this. I was told that smoke follows beauty, and my eyes were full of smoke. I was crying so hard.
So the reason, incidentally, that we're not on camera for this live stream, I look like shit. I've been up all night. I already looked like shit, actually, before I was up all night, because I've been camping all day. And frankly, Bakaraptor told me the first time I ever posted a video on my anime blog before I even had a YouTube channel, you know, you've got a face for radio. And I really think he was right. Most of my most popular videos do not have my face in them. Very rarely does my face turn up in videos that have actually been successful.
I would assume some of the most popular videos have the hamster in it.
the Digi Hamster. Actually, those are some of the least popular videos on my channel. But
I guess that the hamster meme hadn't caught on yet.
But I figure.
Bird, what's your favorite bird species? Toucan? Owl? I like toucans and owls.
I think my theory. So this is basically what I've been operating under ever since. Actually, did you have more to say? I didn't realize you were reading a rant request for yourself, but do you have more to say about your favorite bird species?
Toucans and owls, man. Toucans, they've got such big beaks and such tiny little skulls. Owls, they fly silently and they go, hoo, hoo. They're cool birds. I don't have a lot of words, but birds are cool. I go by the name for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't go by a specific bird name because that would just be like narrowing down my skills too much.
Yeah.
Penguins are also dope. I do love penguins.
What was I talking about though just now?
I don't know. I got off in the weeds over the birds.
YouTube.
Oh, you want to get my face out there?
Oh yeah, and bury mine. So, like. I mean, partly because, like, so I've always been visually a very mercurial person. I used to sort of look through pictures of myself and realize I always look different all the time. And I'm always on the move, and we travel a lot, and so inevitably I do get seen in lots of places, but I feel like I don't have, like, a very consistent presence. I feel like in different situations I'm, like, too different, and also I'm usually just quiet. Bird is always talking to people everywhere. So everywhere we go,
I do be doing that.
Bird is starting a conversation with somebody. He's giving them a lot of information about himself and usually getting some kind of information about the place we're in or the people around or something relevant that will help us out. So I basically would be never discovering anything because I'm not talking to people, if not for the fact that Bird was going up and talking to everybody and discovering everything. For instance, again, Sulfur, because it was just some random old dude in the parking lot that Bird started a conversation with.
He was a libertarian guy with an Asian wife. That's what I gathered.
And he told us to go there, and we had a lovely time for 3 nights. And, you know, we probably wouldn't have gotten to sleep if you hadn't asked the people at the gas station about the tornadoes and whether we should be worried and stuff. Sometimes I have those kinds of, like, inspired moments, but Bird is always kind of on the lookout for someone who's going to give him information, you know?
I enjoy information.
Or receive information. So, you know, like... fuck, why am I talking about this? Right. I see you as, like, the face, and I am the voice.
Face and voice.
My voice is extremely well known. People have heard hundreds of hours of it. They're used to hearing it. It makes them nostalgic. My face will never make you nostalgic because it'll change all the time. But my voice, I mean, my voice is different too, but it's more consistent.
I will say...
I put effort into trying to sound good when I talk on...
Anonymous has it backwards, seen but never heard. It would actually be heard but never seen. Right?
No, women are supposed to...
No,
you want to look at them
you specifically.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You are going for heard but
right,
not seen,
exactly.
not seen but not heard.
Yeah, exactly.